How's it, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry, I gotta keep it quiet. It's 19:30, almost. Yeah, did it. Oh, welcome back. Or just plain old welcome. I did it. Yay! Perseverance. Persistence beats resistance. About halfway through my stacking journey, I'd already accumulated a lot of silver, probably maybe even 100% silver eagles, with some constitution junk and foreign stuff and some Morgans and hand-me-downs and heirlooms and stuff like that. Somewhere around, I don't remember, it's been so long, but I'm thinking 2008, 2009, somewhere between 1998 and 2009 or so. I got the idea that, I already had familiar with the Monster Box with the yellow bands, and it's exciting but heavy, and not much enjoyment other than secreting that kind of stuff away, and then trying to figure out how to send it 5,600 miles. That was fun, but actually pretty easy. So so somewhere along the way I got it in my head that I wanted to get an empty Monster Box, which I did, you can see there, and start filling it up with what I call Loosies. Sometimes I would buy it by the whole tube. Sometimes I would have to just piece them together, like this one right here. This is incomplete, and you can kind of see in there. There's some toners in there, and that's kind of an example. Maybe this is a good example of miscellaneous. Oh, there, that kind of gives you a better idea of what kind of. If you can see those different colors in there. So those are just probably singles that I picked up here and there, or you show up at the coin shop and you got X amount of dollars. You want to leave with no dollars, and so maybe I could only afford to buy, maybe I only had enough money to buy 5 or 6, or maybe I had enough to buy a tube, but I show up and there's only 5 or 6 no tubes for sale, or it would vary, and I just did it on a steady pace. Some people might call it dollar cost average. I wasn't thinking that way. I was just, for some reason, I had adopted the idea of buying on a schedule. I'd do my budget and I'd figure out how much cash flow, leftover cash flow, after bills, after other priorities, insurance, mortgage, maybe even had car payments back then, I forget, maintenance on cars, maintenance on the house, surprises, a fiat stack for when the lights go out, all different kinds of ideas going through my head. And this one is taking a while, so a few years I did it for, from 98 till 2016, but I didn't do a whole lot of silver buying after, I had other priorities that cropped up, and I had to put my disposable cash flow towards surprises and health care for my father and stuff like that, so I just wasn't buying as much, and fortunately for me, it turns out, wow, the prices were, that was another reason why I slowed down. Once it hit $20 an ounce, 15 even, I just started slowing down, because I wasn't making any more money. earning any more money. So my budget for precious metals was getting less and less. But anyhow, so I just kept at it, and time does fly. That was 20-something years, 25 years ago. I had a 30-year plan that got rudely interrupted in late 16, early 17 when I had after my father passed away, and I got my mom all squared away with my brother's help, and had to reunite with my wife, who came to Hawaii and decided she had to stay because her parents were in such poor shape and needed so much help. So that took me, and it might have been just a coincidence that it took me 8 years to start thinking about this goal that I had, challenge almost, by this time. After I started watching silver stacking, gold stacking channels on YouTube, not even 3 months ago. I just didn't have to spend a whole lot of time. I used to have a prepper channel, but that thing that was ugly. And that's been a long time, since before the shutdowns and stuff like that. I got pretty active. But, so here I am. Sticker shock, wow. To acquire 80 ounces. Turns out I was 80 ounces shy. I didn't think I was. And it's possible that I got some eagles that I hadn't found yet. I feel like there's some stuff's missing, but I know for sure nobody ripped them off. I'm really good at hiding stuff, especially from myself. And that's why I've accelerated this, because the political atmosphere, the monetary fiat fiasco, World War, whatever number we're up to, on the horizon. People shooting at a former president who's trying to become president again. Talk from the left about all kinds of really Marxist policies. So, I've had a brush with mortality lately. My mind's been going about 1,000 miles an hour. When I was young, it'd go a million, but it doesn't work that fast anymore. So, but here it is, finally. So, I was going to do a live, but I just really don't want to wait to get this stuff secreted away. And hopefully I never have to touch this stuff again until 2029, when I turn 70. That was in the back of my mind at 70 years of age. I try to keep myself in good enough shape to be able to possibly, unless the fiat didn't collapse by then. I believe it will, but I've been believing that for 25 years, so don't listen to me when it comes to that kind of stuff. Listen to the big guys, the big channels, if you want to. So I accelerated. So with the help of you folks, learning about what you call premiums, but had I not been on the channels and just trying to buy from websites, I eventually just used Costco. I know about, and I'm still buying. Actually, I got a quarter OC Gold Eagle today at a pawn shop. No tax, because they consider it secondhand goods. If I'd have bought the same coin for the same selling price at a coin shop, I'd have to pay an extra 4.172%. So that made me happy. They didn't have any silver. They don't buy silver, by the way, because it takes up too much space, because rent over here is crazy, outrageous. Now, this particular pawn shop was in a much older building. I'm going to guess it was built probably in the late 60s, somewhere in the mid to late 60s, probably. I don't know. It could have been a little earlier. I don't think it was any later than 75. It's an old building in an old neighborhood on a main road, though. And so, yeah, they didn't have any, and I said, no, all we got is gold. I asked him if he had any coins. No. Like silver eagles. No. But we do have gold. I said, oh, got any eagles? Let me check. I don't think so. These things have been busy. Left, come back with just maybe 4 or 5, what looked like quarter ounce, something. They were foreign coins. I think they were Chinese. But I'm not interested in that. I'm on an Eagle Buffalo kick right now. Or that full candy bar that you buy an ounce, but it's split up into 10 or 30. I don't know. You can break a piece off. You can break a gram off. So I guess that means there's 31 of those on there. I don't know how that would work out with a rectangle, but something like that. But preferably Eagle or Buffalo. I'm not saying I wouldn't consider a gold maple or a Britannia or really any kind of well-known thing. Probably not a Philharmonic. I've got silver Philharmonics, and 20 years ago it didn't matter. Now it turns out that they're no good, but not really. I think they're $9.99 at the least, and I could always, if I ever get my hands on a forge or a devil's forge or all these melt and smelt and pouring type stuff, I think that'd be a good hobby. And it's possible that I might try to turn some of my maples and or Philharmonics into a custom bar or a pour or something like that. And no, I don't know anything about 3D printing. Silverpunk, they are amazing. But it looks neat. I think I could figure out how to craft a reasonably not extremely rough looking bar with a stamp. I'd love to come up with some kind of logo. I don't think it would be Silver Sleuth. I'm thinking more like maybe a Bull Terrier silhouette or something like that. A full body silhouette. A pretty distinctive looking silhouette if you're familiar with Bull Terriers. But so here I am. So I'm using your folks' help, knowledge, channels, videos, shorts, opinions, and there is no right or wrong, first of all. And I still believe buy what you can, when you can, while you can, without neglecting other priorities. Priorities like stacking food, your pantry, water, filter capabilities, more than 3 or 1, definitely at least 1. Many different ways to create a fire, many different ways to cook over a fire, or if you're into stashing propane. I don't have that luxury. I'm very limited on space and storage, so I'm gonna have. But I got a lot of wood around here. I'm right up against back home we'd call it the woods, but here it's jungle. So yeah, I made it. So using your help and Louis. I don't know if Louis was the first one. I don't know if you're familiar with Louis. Losing Louis, I think he used to be called. Still, that's part of his handle and his email or correspondence type stuff. Let's see, bestgoldsilverdeals.com. I've got it saved on my fancy laptop and my phone. No, maybe I don't have it on my phone. I think I got it on my fancy laptop. I'm paranoid about buying stuff online, but I did it. I timed it up pretty good, at least compared to the last 2 or 3 weeks price-wise. Haven't really seen it any lower on Costco, so I took advantage of those. And I got my 80. And I was thinking, I want to buy my 4. Or I've got a couple choices, and this is why I was making the video to let you to maybe get some feedback before the morning, because this is at night. I'm kind of running out of steam, and my day starts really early. I'm actually past my bedtime, I think. But excuse me. So I don't know if you can see this. So these are these Littleton Eagles. I think they sold them out of magazine ads or to recliner people stuck in their recliner, old people. I don't know if it was kind of predatory marketing or not, but they're neat. Sorry about the lighting; it's dark. But these holders, they're not even they're not hermetically sealed or nothing. Matter of fact, this one's got some toning. Isn't that right, class? Toning, not tarnish. So my choice was that, or again, going back to buying stuff, what I call Loosie's. Is this it? No, this. Oh no, that's my. Okay, maybe I got more eagles than I thought. No, this is it. Yeah. So these are proofs. So somehow these were in a cardboard box or a bucket that used to have a gallon of ice cream in it, some plastic bucket, depending on the coin shop. So I was either gonna, and I've got 5 of them. Got 5 of those. Let me see all this. Not these 2. These are special dates, I guess. Yeah, 80. I think that's an 88. There we go. That's an 88. So that's my oldest nephew's birth date. And this one, I don't know, what is that? This is a 1998. So I got an 88, no, an 86 and a 98. Those are significant birth dates. So I'm just going to put those in my new Loosie stack of 2 for now. But I got these 5 proofs. They're shiny. How do I do this? There we go. Shiny. They got W's. So I thought about putting those, taking 4 of these and putting them in here to complete my Loosie box, my Loosie Monster Box. So that's kind of where I haven't really decided. I tell you, I'm leaning towards leaving those, because those might be good video material. I'm just cutting 4 of these suckers out of these Littleton things, which I think are, besides cumbersome, they add nothing to these coins. Yeah, it's got a neat little, some information back there, facts and figures. 31.101, nice, and dimensions, and yeah, that stuff's all over the place. You don't need a fancy, probably expensive. These things, I don't know what year is this, a 2001. So if they were selling these back in 2001, man, I'm trying to remember what the prices were. It was like $5 or something like that. And so maybe they were selling them for $15, something like that, on the television. You know, some triple key, at least, maybe even 4 or 5 times the actual value. You know how they try to take advantage of us elderly folks in our recliner on our meds. So yeah, I'm leaning towards taking these 4 of these out, and that'll still leave me with 1 example. I thought I had 5. Yeah, I got 5. I think I just pulled 4 out, because I'm not actually going to break them open right now. I'm going to do that in the day when I'm rested, so I don't hurt myself. Yeah, but I got 5 of these. I only got 4 of them out, and they all seem to have a little bit of toning. That one does. That one does. That one does. So I don't think it matters as far as which one do I pick out. So I'm leaning towards these. I wouldn't mind your thoughts on, no, keep those in there because there's a premium attached. It's like Milk Spot premium. Probably not. Then these 4 will go in here with these 16 various dates. Great, I'll tell you, man, when you fiddle around with bulky silver, man, it's fun. So 2000, that's a 2000. So there's sometimes I bought them 10 at a time. Sometimes they didn't come in these tubes. I ended up buying some of these empty tubes from the dealer. I bought this empty box from a dealer later. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. 16 plus 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 equals my goal. And now this will take a big load off of my shoulders, because I sleep well, but I'm tired of not being super duper secure. And like I said, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know. I don't really know much. I know what I feel inside, and I feel inside that I am unprepared. I'm unprepared for a home invasion. I'm unprepared with this stuff being out of. I've tried to find it all. I think I found most of it, maybe all of it. I don't know. My brain's fried. But I'm better living through chemistry as a youth. But yeah, I just don't feel comfortable, and I've got so many divided. I actually wouldn't mind doing a video on the different ways that I figured out how to hide precious metals. Some of it in plain sight, and some of it not in no possible way. Not even a metal detector person. There's techniques that I've used, and I've already implemented it here. I've been doing this for 8 years here, getting ready for what I've been getting ready for the last 25. But yeah, there's ways to hide things in plain sight. I don't know, some of us are collectors, some of us are hoarders. In the old days, they called it pack rat. Unfortunately, people of my parents' era, World War II era, and then the early boomers, like my in-laws, they were born in 38. I don't know if that's an officially a boomer yet or not, but they went through nothing out. So my father-in-law in his tool rooms used to put together hot rods and show them, take them to car shows and stuff. He was a Chevy guy too. But you got, oh my gosh, it's a whole, kind of like a Craftsman tool, rolling toolbox, the metal kind. They're just really cool. Just chock full from, a 4-inch deep drawer, nothing but various nuts and bolts from probably the last 60 years. Nails, and it's all, none of it's, it's just a big, and a lot of empty coffee cans. And some coffee cans had the same stuff in it. Maybe copper, there were some copper pieces, just all kinds of stuff that you don't throw out and you come home from work, or you're done doing a project at home, you just fling it back into a coffee can or a big tool box that would hold a lot of nice tools. It's vintage, it's dirty, for sure. But so yeah, you can have and I used to do this in Ohio, and I have it deployed here, but I don't want to get too specific. But you can take a coffee can, put what you want to hide in plain sight, sort of plain sight, and you have a shop area, because they're gonna take your angle grinder, they're gonna take your miter saw that you've got nearby, they're gonna take your good stuff. But when they look at the coffee cans and they pick them up and they're filled with what they think is just nuts and bolts and nonsense, they're gonna pass. They're gonna grab your miter saw. They're gonna grab your DeWalt this or your Ryobi that. They're gonna something that they think is of value. Maybe you've got the original stereo from your '74 Camaro and the aftermarket Pioneer Super Tuner nearby. They might take that instead. Probably not, because who listens to cassettes anymore? So you empty out all the nuts and bolts and nails and make it uncomfortable for somebody to try to sift through the top inch or two. Put in a crown royal bag. If you don't have a crown royal bag, come up with something like a crown royal bag. A bag, you just take a bag and tie a rope around it, and have about a 6 or 8 inch string leash length of cord, enclosure type thing, something like this. So you put your goodies in there. Okay, you got the coffee can. You put this. You don't want to fill it up. You just want to do this a bunch of times. You don't want to fill it up. You get in there. I don't know how much that would hold. It looks like maybe 40 coins, 1 ounce coins of some sort, maybe 60. You just stick it in, and then you just all the way, stick it all the way in, and then you drape this over. I use a piece of tape that's hanging over the coffee can lid. And then just pile in the nuts and bolts and stuff. Then when you get to about an inch or so, 2 inches from the top, you put that down there, and then you just fill it all up. If you need to retrieve it in a jiffy, you just reach in there and, probably want to wear some leather gloves. It could be uncomfortable. Grab the string, pull it out, go, boom, done. Next. So. Yeah, that's it. That's just. I might do a video on stashing stuff using fence posts, cinder block, dead appliances, used broken appliances like dryers, washing machines, not refrigerators. Those are kind of notorious for people trying to turn into some kind of fake safe. And I have a decoy safe system. I used to keep Susan B. Anthony's and Sacagaweas and remember the big Ike dollars. I don't think any of them have any silver. And it turns out that some of them have a special date or a special mark or a special error. And they're worth sorting through if you got the nerves and temperament for that and the time. I don't. That's why I like to watch the videos. It's vicarious. It's a good word. So I can vicariously participate in that stuff and, kind of get the satisfaction that is good enough for me. But there's just all kinds of ways you can hide stuff. Now, if the Army shows up, with their fancy state-of-the-art, beyond the state-of-the-art metal detectors, or Uncle Sam, or the IRS, they all got guns now. They all got 9mm and 45, and so you have to seed. I call it seeding the yard. Those same nuts and bolts and all that stuff. Over time, you test it. You could probably do it in a couple days, depending on the size of your yard. It's not easy. You pull up a certain amount of the topsoil, the sod, the grass. I'm using air quotes over here. Is quite different, and so much easier for when you're Kentucky bluegrass or rye, or even for that matter, bent grass. If you've got a really nice putting green that you put in your backyard, and you just start putting those nuts and bolts and stuff in there. Oh, that's going to ruin the earth. Oh, you're so non-ecology. No, don't want to hear it. So you see it. So with metal detectors, you go nuts. You need to do it everywhere. I've heard pepper kind of bothers sniffing dogs, detection dogs. But I like dogs. I'd rather mess with a human. The dog won't have anything to do with it. They're just doing what they're told. Well, that's almost an oxymoron because people that do bad stuff try to excuse it by saying, I was just following orders. But a dog's a dog. Dog, D-O-G. that spelled backwards. But anyhow, so I'm done. So if I get any response to this over the next, what time it is already. What time is it? This survey says 19:55, so almost 8 p.m. for those of you that can't count. So probably 8 plus 4 is 12. So about over the next 7 or 8 hours, I'm going to get on this. I don't know, probably 10 hours. Because I got stuff to do in the morning. I get up at 3:30. Sometimes I sleep until 4:30. I don't know how I feel or what I got going. And I got something going on tomorrow. This is prepared. This is ready to be hermetically sealed. I've got some hand warmers. Not bothering putting them on camera. I use those for desiccants. And I've got some desiccants. So there's ways you can do this. This stuff's been buried before for years. It was actually probably at least 7 years in the ground before I recently brought it up. There's other stuff in the ground, and I don't know if I'll live to retrieve that. I really don't. But we'll see. If an event gets in the way, I might be able to, figure out what's going on in time to somehow put my stashes to work for me somehow. I read in a chat, somebody on their videos said something like this: silver won't make you rich, but it'll help you from not becoming poor. Something like that. It was really profound. I wish I'd written it down, and I might have, but I write a lot of stuff down. Once a week I gotta gather up all my notes. I write lyrics, poems, haikus, all kinds of stuff, just depending on what's going on, where I'm at, and how comfortable I can sit and write at the time, because I do everything outside. One thing I do inside is restroom facilities and bed. I don't eat inside. I cook inside. I do bake. I bake my baklava inside. So that's where I'm at. I did finally get the tally to my heart attack / acute renal failure relapse fiasco week from July 7th until I think I got out the 13th or the 16th. I ended up getting out of 2 different hospital stays. Just the heart attack part, almost $90,000. How many ounces of something is that? So, besides preparing for, stacking silver and gold, stack some health insurance. But I knew this. I've been planning. I took my Social Security at 62. I did my research back then, so it's been 3 years. Because once you don't get Medicare until you're 65. So, I was tired of working. I officially retired during the lockdown. I don't have to work, but it comes in handy, the extra cash, and most importantly, the health insurance. 3 8-hour days with a half-hour lunch break, which I don't take, but I only get paid for 8 of the 8.5 hours I'm there, helping people. It's a good workout, so I lift a lot occasionally, especially if I got to unload something, thousands of pounds over the course of a month. So, kind of helps me keep somewhat in shape, not aerobic, but anaerobic-wise. But it's the insurance, so only 24 hours I do average. And I qualify for insurance because this company has 21 or more employees. They're a corporate outfit. Just a small chapter in Hawaii, but mostly on the mainland, especially the West Coast. But that precludes me from having to pay for Medicare Plan B, which is required, unless you've got a pension from like the post office or something else that'll take its place. Also will take its place if you're well enough at 62, or yeah, 62 is a good time to start, to keep your insurance, or maybe you've got insurance from a pension or a 20-year gig or a 30-year gig at someplace, Owens Corning or wherever. I didn't. I was in sales and knew I wasn't going to do that for 20 years. I hated it. I loved the money, but I hated it. The golf business, that petered out for me. I just got burned out on it. My dad needed more care, 24/7 care. 9/11 happened, and that changed my life. And in October of 2001, I left the golf business. I would take October, November, December, January, February off most years anyway, because it's a seasonal sport in Ohio. But I lost my train of thought. But real quickly, over the next 8 or 10 hours or so, if I get some comments, great. If I don't, no biggie. I'm telling you, I'm leaning towards taking those Littleton slabs. That's a loose term for these things. And just cutting them out of there. I'm probably even going to throw the things out. I don't see any reason to collect them other than maybe keep one of them for the video, or maybe I don't know. Don't care. Take these, put them in there, put them in there, and then close it up, tape it up, seal it up. I got a vacuum sealer. They do make bags big enough to do this whole thing. When I first started vacuum packing these things, I was kind of curious on whether there would be enough pressure to crack the plastic or cause any kind of damage. But no, they're pretty flexible. But firm, but they're flexible enough, so the vacuum sealing is not a big deal. And then you gotta pay attention to the slope of wherever you're putting them. I don't recommend putting them up trees or anything like that. Depending on where you're living, you have different natural disasters you got to consider too. Here, it's mostly hurricanes. Hurricanes, I don't know. They don't really. It's not like a tornado where they dig up the dirt. It just mostly just sheer wind sheets type wind, and not up here too much because I'm pretty high up, halfway up the mountain. But if you want to, don't have to. Leave a comment. Cut those Littleton's cases, slabs, plastic sales tools, whatever you want to call them. Those things, they're junk. They mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because that's what I believe. And then the proofs there. That's a neat conversation piece. Maybe somebody will have a scruffy proof challenge. Because they have skull coin challenge. I don't have any skulls on coins. What other stuff that I don't know. Super smooth slicks, Morgans. No, I got some Morgans, but none of them are wasted or anything. I've got some older, I'm going to guess and say barber this or seated something that. Quarters and dimes and some V-nickels, which are probably not made out of silver. They're pretty smooth, pretty slick, so maybe somebody will come up with one of those challenges. And you got no bones, no pirate stuff, got no poker chips. I don't have any of that stuff yet. I like the poker chip idea. Not so much collecting them, but having a silver sleuth poker chip. That'd be fun. And it'd be neat to give them away. I don't mind helping people attain joy. And a little bit of joy, even if it's just getting something like in these mail calls, I can feel it. I just the excitement. It's a subdued excitement, but you know, it's neat, and I like to collect stuff. I try not to, but you know, sometimes you can't help it. So yeah, as far as maples and stuff like that, I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with those. They certainly don't hurt anything having them. And again, now not the kilo. The kilo is I've got a kilo dragon in the year 2000. I think it's Australian. I don't know whether it's permanent or the other one. Royal Australian. I don't know. I wouldn't even attempt to try to melt those things. But I'm not ruling out the maples and the philharmonics somehow being turned into red hot looking molten pouring things, you know, after they've cooled, and molds. I can be pretty crafty. I learned how to do all kinds of stuff on my own using books before the internet. So I learned to Indian beadwork on a loom in a really inexpensive book that I got at a hobby store, I think, or I might have bought it at an auction, because I used to buy cookbooks and all kinds of stuff like that, sell them in the shop, sell them in my antique mall spaces, sell them on eBay once I discovered eBay. And then when the fancy phones appeared, the cookbook business died, literally. They might still be selling them, but very few people bother with paper books, because everything's online. I don't do very well reading on my phone, especially a book. I tried that Kindle stuff. It was free. But it just makes my eyes sore. It's a different feeling. You know, there's no real bookmarker. And bookmarkers, yeah, I used to collect those, I guess. You know, those are neat. Most times they're free. Yeah, so I learned beadwork. I learned how to do leather crafting. I got pretty good at that stuff. Not at first, but you know, really looking back, they weren't horrible efforts. Beadwork can be very, very tedious. I don't think I could do. I mean, I could do it, but I don't think I want to do that. Leatherworking can hurt sometimes, but I've got my. I did ship my tools. I don't think I shipped my looms though. One of them was really big, so I know I didn't ship that one. I don't think I shipped them. I think I just. That's a phase in my life that I just had to let go. So, yeah. So let me know. Littleton, probably keep those scruffy proofs for prosperity's sake. And I'm still going to be buying silver. I just don't feel the urge to have to get it in 80 of them really quickly. Not anymore. Thanks to you folks and Louie and others. Myself. Yeah, so I appreciate showing up. Hope to see some comments, but if not, I'm probably going to do a goodbye video, because I'm after probably tomorrow, before tomorrow's sunset. These things will be out of reach, and that's fine. Then I'll be able to sleep a little bit better. Again, but there's all kinds of safe ways to hide stuff. Now, you know, house fires, I should have mentioned that. House fires could be a concern, I believe. You know, this stuff gets really hot. I don't think those safes are, you know, maybe they are a little bit of help. I've seen, there's been some fires, you know, close by all over the island in the past 8 years. Actually, one not, I don't know, maybe 30 houses from here. But they've got a really good system, you know, fire hydrants and fire departments, and I don't know of too many buildings that have just burnt all the way down to the ground. But then you got the Maui incident, which is sad. No matter what you think caused it or anything like that, it seems fishy. What do I call that? Convenient coincidence conspiracies. A lot of stuff goes in it, but that just could be a coincidence. A lot of things could just be a coincidence. You know, training for a 9/11 the day of 9/11. Yeah, that could be a coincidence. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm gonna be feeling a lot better, and then I'm back to the same thing: buy what I can when I can on a schedule. So how do you do that? You take your expenses, your bills, and how you have to pay those bills. Like for instance, you can use credit cards to pay all kinds of stuff. Especially, I wouldn't do it if I didn't have rewards, but it is a way to save interest and to cut down on your required monthly payments. Say, for instance, you got 3 or 4 different credit cards, or some people just in hot up to their eyebrows. But you can strategize. Mortgage companies, they're not going to take your credit card. You can use a personal line of credit to accelerate the process of not paying as much interest as possible, or probably more positively, paying the least amount of interest possible. And I'm there. If you're young, 20, 30, 40 even, 40 is young. I didn't think so. I didn't think I'd ever live to be 40. I never thought about 40 until I woke up one day and I was 40. But 40s were, I felt like they were my prime. Brain-wise, health-wise, probably not as physically fit as I was when I was a workout freak in my 20s. But brain-wise, career-wise, life trajectory-wise, I felt like 40s were the best hair days. I had a bunch of hair back then, and just thinning, and then I ended up looking like that old dude just trying to hang on to his hair, and eventually I just cut it all off. So yeah, Littleton or Proofs. That's pretty easy. I think Littleton. But I'll figure it out before I wake up again. Assuming I do. And I do. So thanks for getting this far. Thanks for supporting my channel. I've been getting some pretty good subscriber activity. I've done a little bit of research. Man, 1,000? That's a lot of subscribers. You folks out there got thousands or 500 subscribers. I don't know what the benefit is. I know at 1,000 there might be an opportunity to do this or that, or I may put some extra coin in your pocket, or in your extra silver in your stack. And I know that there's some people that just make buku, ungodly, unimaginable amounts of income from the YouTube. I don't aspire to that. It wouldn't hurt my feelings, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. But I wouldn't mind being able to make a short that's longer than 16 seconds. That would be neat. I don't know the other benefits that, other than the monetary ones. That's probably I can call it a little mini goal. Oh, there's a gecko. But yeah, I know I ramble. Yeah, well, don't. That's elderly abuse if you give me grief because I ramble. But thanks. In the meantime, I think.